Born in this world, you can't win, you get out, you get in, make your mark, they won't stand, cause you're born in this world full of sin. Where you look, ain't your friend, all this dark is around, cause you're born in this world, they pretend only you can contend, and they know, so they watching you. Born in this world, we begin the free will to be still, to rebuild. You won't try, cause you're. Now look out for that.
What's happening? Welcome to GenWorld, and today we setting up some cool stuff. PlayStation 3 emulation. This is mainly if you do still own PlayStation 3 games. That's a big thing. Mine are in the back of my case right now, so I'm not pulling out a case. Sonic Unleashed is my test. That's what I use to just check the performance of the emulator itself against my system, and I've had nothing but success with it. And I'm gonna go ahead and show that here today, and how to get the emulator up and running on your system, even if you have something that's like slightly above the minimum requirements here. So one thing we want to do first is hop on your browser of choice. We're going to go to RPCS3.net. I will overlay it in the editing here so you can actually see it a bit better. But first thing you want to do is go to RPCS3.net. /quick start. Now, if we just go straight to the website, I'll show you here and navigate from here so you can do this as well. But this is fully open source. GitHub has all of the daily updates because there's no stable build of this emulator. And when it comes to stable builds, it's like Dolphin, the GameCube and Wii emulator. That one has a stable build of version 5.0. That one works and is guaranteed to work. I think it's like 98% compatibility rate with version 5. And they do still have nightly updates and daily updates. And they just will increase functionality as time goes on. But version 5 of that emulator is a stable release. There is no stable release for this. They are literally all nightly updates and all open source. So if you are into coding yourself, you can assist with building this emulator and adding functionality to it. Aside from that, let's get this started. When it comes to the site, you're going to be right here. You look at your top, you got all your different areas you can go to. We are worried about the quick start because here they'll give you your hardware requirements, recommended, minimum, like normal PC games will and programs. Let you know if your system is able to run these things or not. They're going to give you your requirements. You're going to need a PlayStation 3 firmware file directly from Sony, and they'll be able to give that to you here. You just click on that take you straight, get the latest version of the PlayStation 3 firmware. That's the latest version of the PlayStation 3 firmware. Now, just to sidestep a bit there, with the official firmwares, you can install custom firmwares, and I'm currently working on that as well, same time as this. So when it comes to installing a custom firmware, it works a bit differently. And once I get that process very smooth and I can explain it easier, I will drop that. But from here, we're going to work with the vanilla, and that's just going to be the custom firmware official that you can get directly from Sony themselves. Your visual redistributables, make sure that those are up to date, the latest version of those, because this does use that as well on Windows. So you want to make sure you have all your redistributables updated on the latest joints. Installing your firmware files, this will show you how to do that top to bottom as well. And once you get that, we cannot distribute them. Like, I can't give you the file. I really probably shouldn't tell you exactly where to get it from, hearsay. Still like a little spicy with the legal stuff, but you can download your firmware files and put them on a flash drive and install them on an official PlayStation 3, which I do have right here in my feed. So when it comes to having access to those files, drop them on a drive, you can make sure that your PlayStation 3 is on the latest firmware officially that way. So I will say that preface, don't do no illegal shit. Now, when it comes to managing your PlayStation 3 games, I really will not be telling you where to get those. Google is your friend. Use Google. Google will point you in the right direction to actually obtaining games. Or down here, which is my personal way to do, is actually using a Blu-ray drive if you can get your hands on one. They do make them external, so you don't need to like pop them into your actual desktop. If you got a laptop, they got USB Blu-ray drives that can read. All you need one is to read, not write. You just need a Blu-ray reader, and these are the drives that are compatible as of right now. So they have an entire big list of compatible drives that will work perfectly with this, and it will allow you to rip the PlayStation 3 games into an ISO file. And the entire step-by-step instructions to do so is right here on the bottom. And that's normally the last thing you need to do, because once you get that set up, you got your game set up, your firmware set up. You'll just need to make sure that your controllers are set up from there. And me personally, as you just see, I launched it like directly from Windows. And one thing you want to do, me personally, on Windows is put it in Steam. So I just drop mine in Steam, run it from there, and that way I can use my beautiful 8-bit DOE SN30 Plus. And this is a badass controller, number one. It has functioned very well for every game I've thrown it at. Hundreds of hours on that bad boy so far. And let's go ahead and show the emulator itself. I'm gonna put this here. So once you start this up, you're gonna come here, and I'm actually going to disable a couple things here so you can see the bottom piece. Let me get my camera out of here real fast. So if you look on the bottom here on the lower left side, you can see your log. So you'll be able to see what's going on in the background whenever you're attempting to run a game. So your main thing you want to make sure to do, make sure you're up. This is up to date. You ain't got no red lines. Nothing is out of order. It'll also show your current system setup. So your configuration is there. Let you know what you're rocking with. And yeah, so that's just your startup. Now, whenever you hop into a game, as you see, I already have a bunch of titles installed, but let's take Sonic Unleashed, right? Now we can open up our install folder. So we're gonna go up to the top, boom. So now we just got to make sure we got our folder, right? So now that we got our folder, you're gonna see this code name. Every PlayStation 3 has their serial number. Whether or not it is BLUS or BLES will depend on the region. I believe this is the PAL version of Sonic Unleashed that I have. And it would rip, everything works fine. It will also rip an update if there's actually an update file on the disk, so you'll get that as well. But from there, you just want to make sure that all of your files are set up as such in your PS3 game and update folder. And if they have DLC, you'll be able to do those on the side as well. But basically, from here, you just want to run up to your file, and then you'll see your fourth option down, add games. You just make sure you're here, you add games, navigate to the folder where your games are. So I got my joints here, and I can either add this entire folder. So if there's any games that's just like one folder deep, you'll be able to see it from here. But I'll just go in. You can go in and make sure that you're either here or here, just like one level above where the game actually is. And then you can select that folder, it'll add it right here, and then you'll be able to select it from this list. This is where the fun gets in. Once your game is on the list, you right click that bad boy, and you have a global configuration and a custom. Now, your global configuration, you just hit this up here at the top, your config, and it'll pop up your global configuration. So this is just all games. If you just double click it, it'll run with these settings. Screw that. We're not doing that. We're going to right click on it. You're going to go down to your third option, change custom configuration. Now from here, you'll see your settings are tied directly to the game. Each game has different settings that'll make it run better or worse. And your main thing you want to do is just get the best settings for that specific game. So as you see here, we got our resolution up to 1440p. We're running with Vulkan. You do have OpenGL. Some games work better with OpenGL. Some games work better with Vulkan. 3D games work better with Vulkan because they will actually allow you to use the power of your graphics card. And from there, you got all your additional settings over here. So from native, it should be on async multi-threaded. Make sure it's on that. Turn your VSync off, turn your frame limit off. If you want it to stretch to the display area, it can, but since we're at such a high resolution, it's going to do that anyway. That's just going to be there. Now, another side to this with the resolution, your resolution scale is based off of your default resolution. Because as we know with PlayStation 3 games, not all of them can hit 1080p. Some of them cap out at 720p or less. So what we would do at this point is you want your default resolution to be where the base is, right? And then you come down to your resolution scale. And if you leave it at default, which is your 100%, that's going to render your resolution in your default resolution. So that 100% will render 720p. So what we do, we can either crank it up 150, put it at 1080p, and this will up-res your 720p, but this game can start at 1080p. So we can put this default on 1080, make that the default, and then that will render the game at a good 1080p. But for performance sakes, to make the game run smoother, make sure that it's on 720, and then crank your bad boy up from there. So we just push that up 200 plus 720p. And then over here in advanced, just a good thing to do, make sure you got your relaxed Z-Call sync on. And whenever you hover your mouse over them, if you need a deeper explanation, at the bottom, it'll give you a description. So you'll be able to see everything you need for that information-wise, so you can better understand what the options are. And down here, this is my favorite setting so far and what's making this emulator monstrous. So a lot of games on the PlayStation 3 had frame rate issues. This, for better or for worse, kind of solves that one big issue. So once that is set there, we can save our custom configuration, but I'm gonna show you one more thing. At the beginning under our CPU, you wanna make sure you're always at the low level. And if your game is experiencing issues there, there's two things you can try. Your accurate XFloat, make sure that's enabled, or deactivate your XFloat, switch your SPU decoder to recompiler as some jit. Boom. That's automatically going to put you where you need to be there. And this will just give you a little bit more accurate and faster compatibility with games. So now that we're there, always want to make sure your controllers are set up. And here I'll go ahead and activate my 8-bit DOE now, make sure that's connected. I may need to restart it so it's actually connected. Let's see. Let's see if it likes me. Yeah, let's restart this real quick from within Steam. And then that's going to be Simu. All right. And heading back into Steam, just to show this right quick, in your lower left corner, you can always add a game. You can add non-Steam games. So whenever you hop in here, you new installed, it'll pop up on the list here automatically. But if you got to go straight to the executable, you just hit browse, boom. You can pop in here, navigate to the directory where your install file is. It'll pop up here. So I'll just do this as a test. You just check it and then hit add selected programs. And once you do that, they literally will be right here on your game list. So it'll be right on your list. Pop it from there. And just like I was saying, using this will increase your entire compatibility with, oh, I had it running already. Yeah, it'll increase your compatibility with controllers, like tenfold. So like before it wasn't detecting this controller at all, because I got this one set up through Bluetooth. So it's just connected Bluetooth right now. And once you get in here, you customize the controller, you'll be good to go. Always use X input if you can. That's just going to give you, we should have the golden ticket. Now, one thing I just want to show quick, this game runs better with the LLVM recompiler. Make sure your Accurate X float is on. And from there, we launch. And every game is going to have different settings that'll make it work better or for worse. All right, so this part right here, when it's building the SPU cache, it interfered with my microphone. So here's just a little overlay. I wasn't saying anything too technical, but this entire process, if you're recording anything, it will bring it down just a little bit, just because building the cache and starting PS3 games is very resource intensive. But once that's done, you're kosher. You're rocking, baby. You're rocking. So now the sound does work in all games. I disabled the sound from passing through into the recording just for copyright purposes. I ain't trying to get caught up in nothing in that sense. But yes, sound works, music works, everything is, the timings of the music and the sound effects, everything is on point. But I won't be showcasing any of the sounds in games here. So here's some dope music. You want to play, what you want to see. But the good thing about this here, we double click to go full screen. Now Sonic Unleashed has some very beautiful visual, especially for the PlayStation 3. So its frame rate was always inconsistent, and that has not changed here. It's not a lock 60. When there's a lot of stuff going on in the areas, you'll notice the frame drop. But it gets very smooth once you start getting into the levels, which is the most important part. So like, yeah, we can, let's go stage.
Get rolled over by a copper car, they listening. Look at what I'm at, and it's not hard, but I got your card pulled like you're working and your hours off. I like to talk in person, but the digital don't get the dialogue. Good chef, wrecked the salad, got mad, got the toppings wrong. Stop it, God, I'm in the kitchen, wrist whipping all this applesauce. I tell you what, I keep rapping if you can follow along. I'm talking fake with strikes to your lung neck, and I'm popping the jaws.
Ooh, fucking me up. He said I was good at this shit. Let's get out of here. But anyway, you get it. So that right there runs decently smooth. Not the best, but it runs. Now, another side of this, in which I personally find extremely captivating. What's today? The 14th. Just a few days ago, Ubisoft announced that they are going to be re-releasing Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So with this game, it does not require too much of a high level to run, but we do want to make sure that's there. And let's just put that on 120. And let's see what this does for us. One thing I love about this game is how long the level is actually. Damn. Oh no.
Hit up my connect in the VA. Don't be scared. Bitch be cool, bitch be cool. If I say that
Let's get out of
it's
here.
all okay, it's okay. Don't be scared. Bitch be cool, bitch be cool. If I say that it is all okay, it's okay. Don't be scared. Bitch be cool, bitch be cool.
Beat that, beat that, beat that. Combination. Let's go. Ooh, nice hit. Need all that money. Damn.
So one would be 3 before 50 took them 2 doors. Me and my brother's black skin is what they would shoot for. Don't be scared. Bitch be cool, bitch be cool. If I say that it is all okay.
Oh, come on. 2 to the lips. Gee. No. Oh, wow. Oof. Damn. But anyway, you get it. You see what's going on. You see what's happening. We are in this entire situation Let me move this around. This. There we go. Let's turn that off. But now we got that running. Games with issues normally just have like, or ones that are like bigger games, so like Def Jam Icon, that won't launch. It won't get past the EA menu. I haven't tested Odin Sphere, but X-Men Origins, this is very interesting. Done by Activision. This game it was locked at 30 initially when it was originally released, and first is actually, let me X that out. It should probably shut this whole thing down. Yeah. What we want to do with games like X-Men Origins isn't as much focusing on the resolution first and how to get that up, because that's a given. But we want to make sure our V-blank frequency is turned up to 120, and I can show the difference between pretty much both speeds. But you want to make sure that you're not breaking frame rate at 30 frames, and power of the PS3 couldn't go past it. So if you really thinking like something like this running at higher frame rates, to where before it didn't even hit like a consistent 30, it would still have major slowdown. So there would still be like some kind of side there that would really just diminish the performance of games on the PlayStation 3. And it's just because of that damn cell architecture and how they had things set up. The game itself wasn't the issues, the games weren't the issues. It was just very hard to develop around the limitations that was set by the PlayStation 3. So there were a lot of great games, but as you see here, we got this one running at, this is currently at 1440p. Anti-aliasing turned off, resolution cranked up to 1440p. We removed the where do you boys at? Oh, they have this one. Jesus, hey, let me stop jumping. Woo. Let's get it. Ooh. Got all. Gunzo.
enjoy Natsu.
Shit. Damn. Slash a whole mix section. And yeah, you get that. You understand that now. So now, when it comes to getting your games running, you should be able to run games smooth. The performance is going to depend on your configuration of your system, what components you're running with. These games are perfectly playable to me. Having smoother frame rates will come in the future with more updates. Like I said, there is no stable build of RPCS3. There's no stable build. There are only nightlies. Currently, we're on it's like 0.12. Like, but as you see, it's like 10,881 is the version we're on, and we're on alpha of this repository specifically. So yeah, there's going to be updates in the future. There's going to be more and more functionality just coming to this over time. And now that you know how to set up the PlayStation 3 emulator, it's all on you. Peace.